One question, Bill. A lot of criticism about not taking a quarterback here. Your response?
Well, we got a guy up there. Who in the hell is Mel Kiper, in a way? I mean, here's a guy that criticizes everybody, whoever they take. He's got the answers to who you should take and who you shouldn't take. In my knowledge of him, he's never ever put on a jockstrap. He's never been a coach. He's never been a scout. He's never been an administrator. And all of a sudden, he's an expert. He's in our paper 2 days ago telling us who we have to take. We don't have to take anybody that Mel Kiper says we have to take. Mel Kiper has no more credentials to do what he's doing than my neighbor, and my neighbor's a postman, and he doesn't even have season tickets to the NFL.
Stump is ready to go. Mike Tannenbaum's trying to make trades today already. We'll get into that as we go. Inside joke, but it's funny. Vinny Goodwill is here this morning. Jeff Darlington and Dominique Foxworth are up. We are 6 days from the NFL draft, which means we wake up and do Get Up next Friday, 1 week from today, we'll be talking about round one. So let's make some predictions. Jeff Darlington, my insider extraordinaire. 1 week from this morning, what will we be talking about as the headline from round one of the draft?
Well, Greeny, the vibe across the league is that this is going to be a very trade-heavy first round. We saw 4 trades last year. We saw 5 trades in the first round the year before. We saw 6 the year before that. I could see 6+ in this year's draft.
6+?
Kansas City Chiefs general manager Brett Veach made very clear that he sees such a bunched evaluation with a number of different positions that's going to cause a lot of jockeying between these GMs. I keep hearing it. We'll see if it proves true, but I think there's going to be a lot of trades in this first round.
Certainly as the first round goes along, I completely agree. We see that. That's the sort of thing he's talking about. But how about at the very top, Mike? Are there players in this class that you could see and teams that make sense to you that could be making deals at the very top?
You know the Cowboys will be on this
6
list.
or 7 picks.
Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. We talked about him all week, and Mel Kiper actually mocked that. He is a rare play, Greeny. Even though he's an off-the-ball linebacker, he's 6'5". He ran 4.46. He could do things you rarely see in terms of his ability to run down the field 20, 30, 40 yards. Some people comp him to Fred Warner. I think that's his ceiling. So could somebody beyond Dallas, who's at 12, trade up for him? I think that's
surprise,
Dallas!
Dallas!
Styles is a player to start watching, I think, at 3. And I think there's almost no chance that he lasts as long as Washington at 7. But then again, crazy things happen all the time. Dominique, you study this stuff. You'll be there next week doing shows. Have you seen a player in this class that you've been studying, that you're ready for, that you say to yourself, that's the guy, if I'm a general manager, I'm going up and getting? Who's the player you think is worthy of giving up a lot of stuff for?
Yeah, I think Reese is that. I think Sonny Styles is obviously a name that I think could change your defense, but for a position that I think we value a little higher, we're projecting Reese, who was an off-the-ball linebacker, moving to edge rusher and impacting the defense. But when you watch his tape, the way that he impacts the offense, because he's kind of unblockable, it appears. He's not the heaviest guy in the world, but you still watch him throw big offensive linemen around. He's a guy that projects to be able to impact a game immediately from a bunch of different places. As we move to a league that's that requires a lot more versatility from defenses, I think a player like that is someone that players could, or that teams will be interested in moving up to acquire.
Darvell Reese, who might go to the Jets. There's a lot of that speculation, but if the Jets take another pass rusher in David Bailey, then maybe Darvell Reese becomes in play, and that's a spot that people try and trade up to get. Let me come back to you, Dominique, then for our second question, or it's the same question, but you're the second person I'll ask it to. When we wake up on Friday morning, what do you think is going to be the headline of Get Up coming out of round one?
I think we're going to be surprised that the Titans decide to pass on Jeremiah Love. I know we've been mocking Jeremiah Love to the Titans for a while now. All the big mock drafts suggest that's where he's going to end up. But I find it hard to believe that Robert Saleh is going to pass on one of those defensive players. There are going to be 3 defensive players, I think, on the board. At least one of them still going to be available when it comes to Robert Saleh and the Titans pick right there. I'd be surprised, given the way that we know running back value is impacted by the offensive line and how
all right, I'm going to leave it right there. Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's finally freaking Friday. We will be in Pittsburgh. I still can't believe we're going to be in Pittsburgh next week. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. I have been crazy trying to get things done. It has been so hard to get this thing done. I got so much stuff here to get done at this house, and I've got to get it done before it. I decided that I needed some help. I needed some help, so I got me some help. And today I finally saw the light at the end of the tunnel because one of my best friends who started out like you guys out there, no, not as a stalker, and you know who you are. You know who you are. Yeah, that stalker, you know who you are. No, he didn't start out that way, but I thought he could have been. Because I was driving home and he's like, hey, you know, you're going not far from where I live. How about you pull off the exit at, was it Denny's or
Cracker Barrel?
Cracker Barrel. Yeah, why don't you meet me at Cracker Barrel? And I was like, I'm running a little behind right now. I'm not sure I'm going to do that one. But let me bring here, some of you guys may remember my good buddy, Jet Diener, former bull rider. And he's here to make sure there's no bull going on. 'Cause he knows some bull.
I do know
He knows some bull. How you doing today, Jet?
I'm doing fantastic. A little tired, but good.
Man, we were busting ass and taking names today. If it wasn't for him, I'd have no chance in hell of getting this project done. He's been hanging doors and putting up trim. I've been, dealing with the floor and everything else. And I appreciate you. You don't know how much I appreciate you being here, helping me get this project done. But even more so that just having you around and talking, football and just talking life in general.
Life and all the good stuff.
Now, a lot of people may not know, but you are a barbecue aficionado.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, if any of you were at the last tailgate we did in Washington, the brisket, oh my God.
Yeah, brisket's the thing.
We got to get back to doing that this year, okay?
Yep.
I'm trying to convince him to come back to B.A. because he's got one of these barbecue smoke trailers where, it's mobile.
Yep.
It's mobile. Look, did you see the stack of cherry I've got over there?
I did. I saw
That was and I think it was a cherry tree that's been here for a long time. I didn't realize because I gave a lot of it to my mom to burn for firewood, and had I known, I would have found another tree to give her. But I do have some good cherry, and it smells good. So, Jet,
that trailer still has Texas tags on it.
oh my God. Okay, all right, bring her on back. Yeah.
All right.
So, Jet, you being a lifelong Cowboy fan, you have been a lifelong one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you been keeping up with all of the talk of the Cowboys trading up is what they're trying to tell us?
Oh, my gosh. I think it's just because they got tired of talking about A.J. Brown. There for a while, they were letting us alone. But now every other day, they want to trade us for some different player, and I think it's some bullshit.
You know what? I'm with you on that. I think that it is bullshit. I think they realize, you can only get so far with the Eagles.
Right.
Talking about the Eagles and A.J. Brown, everybody's like, okay, we all know he's going to get traded and so on. But it's the Dallas Cowboys that everybody wants to hear about.
Yeah.
You see every single show, the first thing they lead with is the Dallas Cowboys. Like the Dallas Cowboys are the only team that has needs and might consider trying to move up.
Right.
I'm not with everybody on the whole concept of, the Cowboys must move up. In fact, I think we need to do the exact opposite. If we were a team that, was loaded, if our secondary was great and we were just saying we need an impact player,
right.
I'd say, okay, yeah. But how is it packaging up our first two picks and maybe getting a second round is what they're trying to say, trading with Cleveland, that we would take 12 and 20 and get 6 and 39. Now, for me, our second round picks have been awful. First round picks have been great. Second round picks.
I'm with you there. We've got a long history of terrible.
Oh my God. Boss Man Fat, Tristan Hill, Sam Williams, sadly, Marshawn Nealon, Schoonmaker, Jalen Smith. I guess the only good ones you can say is DeMarcus Lawrence and Diggs for 2 years. But it has been, and I'm hoping Marshawn Nealon breaks that out, and ends up being great. But I'm kind of like, if I'm going to trade anything, it's going to be my second round pick because we know we don't get any help from that. But in my mind, I'm just sitting there thinking, I would rather have a scenario like whatever the best player that is that falls to 12.
Same.
And then say, okay, can we trade for Max Crosby with that 20?
Right.
I hear that he only has 3 years, but there's no guarantee on anybody past the next play.
No, 100%. For me, I'm like, the depth of this draft is in like 3rd and 4th round, and Max Crosby was a 4th round guy.
Yeah, and that's true. and when you start thinking about guys like Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
I think he was 22nd. And I remember, and this is where we won't know how this draft works, okay? I mean, I remember Philly 500. I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass.
Gosh.
But I remember Skip and Shannon talking about Tyler Smith. Oh, Skip. Skip, man, that guy got more penalties than anybody else in college football. Skip. He could have got him in the 2nd round. Skip, they reaching, man. They need a new GM. And here he is. He's at least the 2nd best guard, if not the best guard in football.
A stud.
So for me, I'd rather have more picks there than limiting to just one guy. I keep thinking about Morris Claiborne.
Yep, so best player available with the picks we have. Hey, we're fortunate to have 2.
Yeah.
Get the best one.
Let me give a shout out to all the lovely ladies in the place with the style and grace. There's my girl, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Roland's Review. What's up, Roland? How are you doing? There's my buddy Thomas Garrett and Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. What's going on? Chris Wise in the house. We got Sugar Daddy. What's up, Sugar Daddy? Somebody, I'm surprised you haven't found a lady there, Sugar Daddy, or do you have one there? I got Ethan in the house. I've got Jess. What's going on, Jess? You still living the dream in New York there, buddy? And we've got Lady Libra in the house. What's up, Lady Libra? Shout out to all the lovely. There's Gina. Gina, Dallas Diva. What's up, Gina? And the lovely and talented Holly Pierce. What's up, Holly? Shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. I know I have been lacking on the content, but I've been putting my nose to the grindstone on getting this project done because, these people need a home. They need a home, so we're trying to get this thing done. So bear with me. Monday will be the last day, and everything after that will be draft, including picking up Momo at the train station on Tuesday. It's going to get live. So, getting somebody else's perspective, how do you feel about this offseason for the Cowboys? I get labeled a guy who always is talking. Somebody sent me an email and said, you said they're going to the Super Bowl this year. It's like, I ain't say that shit.
All right.
I ain't said that shit in forever. Okay? So don't get me caught. Don't lie on me. Right. I do feel good about the move and the hire of Christian Parker and this crew. And I do feel like, because we heard today that Christian Parker has been instrumental on the draft as well, the type of players he wants.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing too.
I feel like maybe Jerry Jones is kind of giving up, a little bit of that control and stuff on there. And maybe, just maybe, we're going in a different direction. How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty similar. It's been actually a rather refreshing off season for us just because of the trades they actually made kind of mid-season and the different things as well, and trying to get set up. And obviously our defense, but it's horrible. But man, if we can even get ourselves up to 20 to 15, that was all we needed this past year. So I've got high hopes because our offense is still rocking. Mm-hmm. And so all we need to do is, CP is a little untested, but man, I would rather go with somebody like that. It's not off the old train buses anymore.
Oh, definitely not somebody who's, Jerry Jones confident that he can just kind of run over.
Need to get rid of all the people that eat the raccoons and stuff.
Wait a minute. Oh my God. I think I just saw something on the endangered list. An Eagle fan on Mark Holmes' channel.
Oh
shit! Philly D, heard you're selling sunglasses with time clocks. Dak autographed. Oh, shout out to you on the super chat. Glad to see that, you Eagle fans are still alive since all the hell's been breaking loose. The only place I seem to see Eagle fans is on the Dan Saleo show. So it's nice to know that you guys are okay. How's it hanging over there? How's it hanging over there, Philly D? Yeah. Since we're talking about Dak Prescott here, let me do something here. Shout out to my man, Rome, okay? I get so much shit because everybody says I don't hold Dak Prescott accountable. They say, Dak, he's a choker when it comes to the playoffs, and he sucks and you don't hold him accountable. So Rome actually posted a clip, and it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that happened in the Eagles versus Kansas City Super Bowl. And they said, if this play had happened, we would have had, 3 Super Bowl wins. Okay. Let me show you, and Jet, you can see it right up here. Yeah. Because it was Dak Prescott's fault that we lost and didn't make it to the NFC Championship game. Because if Dak had made this play, we would have been in the NFC Championship game. Let's look at it.
You're going to see Kittle. He's not even really part of the route. This is just scramble drill. Brock Purdy kind of breaks the cardinal rule. You never throw the ball back across the middle of the field. But in this case, George Kittle makes a circus one-hand catch.
Hadn't closed his eyes and ducked his head.
Maybe that. You're going to see Kittle. He's not even really part of the route. This is just scramble drill. Brock Purdy kind of breaks the cardinal rule. You never throw the ball back across the middle of the field. But in this case,
look at that.
George Kittle makes a circus one-hand catch.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Maybe that. You're going to see Kittle. He's not even really part of the route. This is just scramble drill. Brock Purdy kind of breaks the cardinal rule. You never throw the ball back across the middle of the field. But in this case,
Cowboys win that game.
George Kittle makes a circus one-hand catch.
Look, it bounced off the guy. Look, it bounced off his freaking head.
Maybe that. You're going to see Kittle. He's not even really part of the route. This is just scramble drill. Brock Purdy kind of breaks the cardinal rule. You never throw the ball back across the middle of the field. But in this case, George Kittle makes a circus one-hand catch. Maybe that.
That just that killed me. That kills me. Bobby, Mark, love your fire about your quarterback and your team. Hey, listen. If you're going to support something, you got to be a supporter. Okay, you got to be a jockstrap. You got to hold the nuts up. Okay, all right. So if you're going to be a supporter of a team, be a jockstrap, okay? But seriously, it's a team sport, people. It's a team sport.
Yep.
And that right there goes to show you that it's not only Dak Prescott. The defense stops him right there. If Diggs hits him and keeps him getting, it was third down. It was third down, deep in their territory, guys. So it is what it is. Okay, so for all of you out there that say that I'm just a Dak Prescott lover and you don't hold him accountable. So if that play's made, they win, he's a hero? That play's not made, so he's the GOAT and not the good GOAT, the scapegoat. Right? Come on, man.
Yeah, time me out on that.
But it is that time of year, charity time, and this is kind of interesting too with my quarterback. And you know what? Y'all want to try and get me against my quarterback and things because I think because he kicks y'all's teeth in so often, you hate him and keep trying to tell us that he's the problem. He's not the problem.
He's not the problem.
That part was easy. You know, when Roger Staubach calls you and Troy calls you and tells you that they've been a part of something for 30 years, you're saying, hey, sign me up. And probably shouldn't say it. I didn't care what it was. You know, honestly, sign me up. Y'all did it. I guess I should do it. But to be here.
Well, that's good information. you like beer, don't you?
I know where you're going with this.
Sign him up for his beer. Yeah. Yeah, that's my quarterback, giving back and everything else, okay? At least, you know, we don't hear the Cowboys talking about, you know, through the media.
Oh, yeah.
Through the media that we need more from him. more leadership and stuff, right? Like Jalen Hurts. At least my offense isn't like 28th in passing.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
At least my wide receivers aren't trying to get out of town.
Yep. You think?
I don't think so. So, y'all, Eagles, go ahead. I don't know why you Eagle fans, you guys just won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Why it bothers you so much about the Cowboys. Lovely Linda in the house. What's up? Yes, I agree, Jess. Dak Prescott is long in the tooth, okay? But I believe he's playing better than most of the quarterbacks you didn't have since when? Jess? And this is where you bring up a great point. Dak is long in the tooth, which is why the Cowboys should be doing everything they can right now and saying, we got about 3 years. We got a 3-year window. And in that 3 years, first thing I'm doing is I'm getting George Pickens paid and saving myself about $18 million.
Yep.
Okay? Next thing I'm doing is I'm trying to get me a veteran linebacker. Okay? If it takes a 3rd round or 4th round picks to get Jaden Brooks from Miami, I'm going out and getting that guy. Okay? If I get that guy before the draft, my draft is wide open for the best player available, even if it's an offensive tackle.
Yep.
Okay, I can go ahead and say, all right, I can get rid of Terrence Steele, or I can just let Tyler Guyton go, but I've got a left tackle that's going to help my investment and maybe make Dak Prescott last a little longer.
Yeah, get some.
I got extra cash that I can spend on some other players, and I go all in. This penny pinching bullshit that we're doing right here, and we got close to Kobe Dean, but they could have sweetened the pot. Which is better? Because everybody's talking about trading up. Okay, which is better? The Cowboys take 2 number ones to trade up to get Sonny Styles, or spend another $2 or $3 million a year and get a veteran linebacker.
Yeah, get it back.
And still have those 2 picks.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying, people? That's the way I look at it.
That's all we needed to do was go up. Like I said, just be the 20th best defense. I mean, hopefully the 15th, but that's all we needed to do.
Big Spank Dog. New England has drafted 2 quarterbacks and 1 went to the Super Bowl in 5 years. True. How many quarterbacks has Washington drafted and not been to the Super Bowl?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shit! Oh,
seriously. How many quarterback careers has Washington messed up there, Big Spank Dog? I don't know. This is what amazes me, is that Commander fans feel like they have the right to troll the Cowboys. Didn't your sorry-ass team, after going to the NFC Championship game, shit all over themselves and lose to the Cowboys twice? Isn't that what happened?
That did happen.
I could have. Didn't your incredible quarterback literally shit the bed last season? Sophomore slump? Didn't Momo come in here talking about, we going to start out 7-0 and we win a division? And you have the nerve to come in here and troll the Cowboys? The hell is wrong with you? Our offense is great. What's up, Dallas Cowboy for life, Gilly? Is incredible. We need a top 13 defense at the most. At this moment, any credible defense would be a help. Dak is no McNabb. Dak has 2 wild card wins. See, and I hate to say this, Philly D, and I guess that clip of showing you the difference between winning and losing is, if Diggs intercepts that ball, we get the ball down there where it's an easy score, or if he just taps him, if he just hit Kittle and he doesn't make the play, we get the ball in great field position with the lead. You understand that, right? That's the difference between winning and losing. And do you consider it a loss when we lost to Green Bay and he had 304 yards and 3 TDs and 1 interception going toe for toe against Aaron Rodgers, and the defense couldn't hold Aaron Rodgers for 40 seconds? Is that Dak's fault too? I'm just asking because I can't look at that and say that wasn't an incredible performance in the playoffs. And when the running backs, when your lead running back has 26 yards on 1.9 yards a carry and makes your quarterback one-dimensional, that's the quarterback's fault too? Come on, man. Y'all are smarter than that.
Come on, dog.
It's a team sport, man. It's a team sport. So, understanding for me, I look at this and say the Cowboys have done more this offseason, doesn't seem like it, than they typically do. We haven't had anything other than Marquez Bell being busted for driving with weed and a controlled substance, and that's been swept under the door now. I love Jerry Jones. He's the new Joe Biden. Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, how's your wife doing, buddy? I hope she's doing well. How do you think we're going to do this year? As a Cowboy fan, I know how I feel.
Wow.
I feel we're going to take some steps forward. I think, we should make the playoffs, and we'll see where we go. It's still kind of early because we don't know what we're doing in the draft. We don't know if the Cowboys, make a move and try and get Max Crosby. How would you feel about them saying we're going to scratch and dent, that he's got a degenerative knee that may only be good for, say, 3 or 4 years?
Oh, I'd be in on that if they can get him cheap enough, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we have so many different holes. And as far as this year, I mean, we've got a new defensive coordinator that's,
can't be any worse than the old.
He can't be any worse than the old. And so I actually look for, with him in there at least, people aren't going to know what to expect from our defense. All the other coordinators, everybody always knew them before they ever got to the Cowboys. So it wasn't like no rocket science. But here they'll have to think a little bit. So if we can get enough players to back him up to give him a half-decent chance, I feel pretty good about it. But that's a big question mark still.
Big Spank Dog, see, what are you talking about? I see y'all release trade Aubrey. You know what that mean, and what does have a vowel. It does have a vowel in it, okay? And same thing with that. There's an A in there, okay? That means Dak has to score. Brandon Aubrey, apparently you definitely don't know what you're talking about. Brandon Aubrey, they put him on a second round tender, the Love Me tender, where teams had until today at 4:00 if they wanted to try and make a move for him and offer a second round pick. They could have signed him to an offer sheet, in which case the Cowboys would have the right of first refusal or take a second round pick. That time has passed. Brandon Aubrey has no choice he does have a choice. He can play on the tender at $5.39 million, or he can hold out and get nothing. And of course, he still has his rights owned by the Cowboys for another year if he does sit out. So he is here. So what are you talking about? The Cowboys traded him. See, you come in here talking about how bad the Cowboys are, and you don't know shit. You don't know shit. Mean Mel Mike, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Hey, y'all, just resting my foot after an operation. Damn. I hope your foot's okay, man. Vinny, what's going on, Vinny? SD, what's good? Mean Metal Mike, Mel Brooks. Steelers still has a quarterback problem regarding Aaron Rodgers. Thoughts? When you deal with a crazy person, expect crazy shit. Last year, it was all Aaron Rodgers loves the drama.
He does. Always has.
Aaron Rodgers loves to have everybody waiting on him and wrapped around his fingers to, for every little thing. And he's probably in his fortress of solitude in the dark there with some magic mushrooms right now anyway. When you end up... Oh, wait a minute. Jess, you sent a super chat. Did I miss your super chat, Jess? I'm sorry. Jess, Mark, free agents is, draft are ifs, get Brooks. I agree with you. Shout out to you there, Jess. I agree with you. Get me a veteran, because this whole idea, Sonny Styles, he's a can't miss guy. I wish I could find some clips about Morris Claiborne. Morris Claiborne, he's the best defender. He is a plug and play guy. He's going to be a difference maker. That mother humper was Glass Joe. He couldn't stay on the field to save his life.
Yep.
So when everybody says they can't miss, that's when I run. Now this is still, to me, kind of crazy. We've heard in the opening sketch here, they're saying that so many teams are willing to trade out.
Right.
We hear that the Cardinals look and say 3 is too high to take a tackle. They figure they can move back, take it off as the tackle, and get some more capital. We hear Cleveland, which has 2 number 1 picks right now, that they would love to move back and collect maybe another first-round pick. We've heard that even the Giants and the Commanders could be convinced that there's as many as 6 teams that would be willing to trade out. My question is, if everybody's trying to get out of the first round, why am I trying to go in?
I'm with you there.
Now, I use this analogy. Okay, now I'm going to get in trouble. People are going to say, you're a racist. But see, I can see if we are at, we're in a cabin. Bobby, thank you for becoming another channel. Bobby, I thought you were already a channel member. Welcome, Bobby. Bobby, make sure I got your email. I mean, your address anyway. I can send it to you. So no problem. If we're out at the cabin and the guy who owns the house said you'll see more deer than you'll see people out there, and we're sitting around the fire pit and we hear some crazy noise in the woods, okay? Here's what I can tell you is going to happen. Richard, David Wiley, and myself and Momo, we running. Okay. All right. All the brothers, we getting out. We'll ask questions later. Game time and Randy Seitz, Walker Wade, they're going to say, what was that? Let's go check it out. Now, I don't know what them boys kicks or game time, prime time. I don't know what the Latino brothers going to do. But I can guarantee you, we're running away from trouble, okay? We'll let somebody else find it, because if you watch any horror movie, the black people are the first ones to get it. We get down to there. And so I'm that guy who, if everybody else is running, I'm running too. I'm not running towards trouble. I just can't see the Cowboys doing it. I think this is more the media storm.
See, that's what I think it is.
To create a buzz, They know that we're Cowboy fans and that we are hungry for anything, We want something to happen. And they just throw all this different shit out here. Remember, I guess about a month ago, everybody was like, you need to take 12 and 20 and trade up and get Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
And now you hear he could fall down there possibly.
They could.
Right?
They could.
So now it's trade up for Sonny Styles. I don't think the Cowboys are ones to trade up in the first round after that time, because the only time they have traded up in the first round is Bob Lilly, which predates, of course, Jerry Jones, which was great. Emmitt Smith from 21 to 17. That was a great one. Morris Claiborne is the only one that Jerry Jones has done in the first round, and that blew up in his face.
Yeah.
Philly D. Imagine, Mark, online, if Dak had Hurts' career. Jalen Hurts was drafted in 2020 and Dak was drafted when? And I'm going to say, Philly D, if you gave Dak Prescott best offensive line in football, a 2,000-yard rusher, 2 really good wide receivers, and a great defense, I'm betting that he'd probably win one too. Let's see, what would your team do had they had the Dallas Cowboys defense? You know how many games you probably would have won this year? Because we gave up 30. Oh, actually, let's play this game. Let's go. Let's be realistic here.
Let's do this.
Eagles schedule 25. Let's just go through it real quick here. Since our Dallas Cowboys defense averaged giving up 30-plus points a game, how many games did your team score more than 30 points? Let's see. Let's start with week 1. Oh, you would have lost to the Cowboys week 1 because you only scored 24 points. You would have lost week 2 since you only scored 20 points against Kansas City. Now, you would have won. You could have won the Rams because you scored 33, so that's 1. Tampa Bay, you scored 31, so we'll call that a tie because we give up 30.5 points or whatever it is. You would have definitely still lost to Denver because you only scored 17 there. You would have lost to the Giants because you did lose to the Giants. You would have lost to Minnesota because you only scored 28. Oh, you beat the Giants 38 points. So that's 2 games right there. Green Bay, you scored 10. Detroit, you scored 16. Dallas, you scored 21. So you would have lost to the Cowboys twice. The Bears, you only scored 15. The Chargers, you only scored 19. And the Raiders, you would have gotten that one because you scored 31. We'll give you that one. And the Commanders, you scored 29. Against Buffalo, that would have been a loss. And week 18 would have been a loss to the Commanders. That's 4 wins, bro. That's 4 wins. If your team gave up 31 points a game, like the Cowboys did.
Yep.
I'm being serious. That's what the Cowboys had. You do realize that you guys had games this year where you didn't score in the second half. You had a game where I don't believe you actually gained a yard in the second half. So this whole thing of, well, Dak Prescott, he's been there for 10 years and only has 2 playoff wins. Well, Tony Romo was there for 10 years and he only had 2 playoff games. And everybody else was there, had no playoff wins.
Right.
You can't just look and say, oh, it's Dak. If the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls with, Tony Romo and Drew Bledsoe and everything else, and then all of a sudden with Dak Prescott, the play went down, you'd say, okay, it is Dak Prescott. But maybe it's the system where the Dallas Cowboys over the last 6 years have averaged on free agents $3 million.
It's crazy.
$3 million per free agent.
It's pitiful.
The lowest spending in free agency than anybody else.
Catboy.
Yeah. We don't like to spend a lot of money on free agents. When you end up spending a lot of money on free agents, you're paying great money for just average or good players. And if you end up messing up in the draft, that's the reason why you have to go into free agency. So, we're never going to admit that we messed up in the draft.
We believe in our guys.
And we believe in our, we see the St. Louis Rams. Well, I mean, excuse me, not St. Louis. They moved to L.A. But we see the L.A. Rams win the Super Bowl, and we look at that and say that's not the right way that you go about building a football team. Mr. Jones?
Yep.
They just won the Super Bowl. And you? Well, the so-called drought that we're talking about here. Yeah. Danny White. Okay, that predates. Danny White predates, of course, the Jerry Jones era. Now, and I would say Danny White was actually a really good quarterback. Here's the problem. Here's the problem for Danny White was Tom Landry, who was an innovator, who was head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. He ended up going to small schools, black schools and things, and finding players, ended up getting, oh my God, wide receiver that was a track star. Oh my God. Hall of Famer. Why am I drawing a blank right now? But he brought in the shotgun. He brought in the shift, the flex defense. By the 80s, he had lost that edge. He had gotten older, and then you started seeing football evolve with the West Coast offense. You saw Joe Gibbs coming through with the one-back set. And he was still stuck with his players from the 70s. You still had Drew Pearson and Randy White that were in the twilights of their career, Ed Too Tall Jones and things. And the team was still good, but it was getting old and failing. And that's where they were close, just couldn't bring it home because you saw these other teams that were now able to change the game. So, I can't look at that and say that it was Danny White's fault. It was just that the team had passed its time. And I think that may be the case with the Eagles right now. And y'all just don't see it. But your offensive line is a wreck right now.
They are old.
I wonder if the tush-push aged some of those guys.
100% it did. Take that many hits over and over and over. Oh, you're going to catch up with you.
No, I said, Bobby, wait a minute, I didn't miss it, Bobby. I said, I got your address to send you another shot glass and stuff. I said, thank you. Didn't I say?
You did.
I did. Bobby, maybe you missed it because I said, I thought you were already a member. And I said, I got your address anyway. But I definitely appreciate you, Bobby. And I even remember asking, how's your wife doing? Because I know she was sick and things. And I hope she's doing well. Lord Jesse, he'll be in the car next week, this day, taking bets on how to leave him on the curb. Oh, no. He will already, Holly, it'll be a Friday night next week, okay? We'll have already left him at a rest stop on the way up. We might pick him up on the way back, okay, because we'd be leaving on Saturday morning because it's supposed to rain. But yeah, no, I can tell you right now, Momo he's on a mission to drive me crazy. I know he's on a mission to do that. I got earplugs ready to go. And yeah. Momo, how you doing there, buddy? Are you ready for the trip, Momo? Me Metal Mike, Dallas Cowboys, America's team, says Rhonda. Dallas Cowboys, okay. You know what? How about before we get to quarterback, we go through and say, how about linebacker? How about safety? How about edge rusher? I can't say that any of those guys that we have there currently had the defense fifth. You?
Not that I can think of.
I can't say that. Are you guys actually literally brain dead? Because I think I made a point that if we get a stop here or there, things look a lot different. Do you remember when Kansas City was playing? I'm trying to remember which Super Bowl it was, but I remember Pat Mahomes threw an interception on his 32-yard line.
Okay.
And their defense held them.
Yeah.
To no points.
Yeah.
And I want to say he threw 2 interceptions in that game.
It was multiple.
That's the difference between if they give up a score there, touchdown.
Yeah.
They might not win that Super Bowl.
No.
I think it was against the Eagles. Dak overthrown Kittle on that play. I feel you. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Dak Prescott overthrew Kittle on that play. And then Diggs, who says, shut your bitch ass up, misses the tackle. You know what, Diggs? You shut your bitch ass up. How about that? All right, so for those out there, I think I have this someplace. The lovely and talented Jane Slater has the info on the Cowboys' plans here on the draft as far as the mock drafts go.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I got to get the volume on.
I'm seeing corner.
Here, hold on. Here we go.
We'll put it this way. If you look at all of the mock drafts right now, Ian, it's all over the place. I'm seeing corners. I'm seeing offensive tackles. I'm seeing this notion of them trading up. If I hit this nail on the head for you, Ian, I'm going out and buying a lottery ticket because it's just all over the place, given the fact that the Cowboys have so many needs on defense, but they also have 2 first-round picks. So let's get into some scenarios. There has been a lot of chatter about the potential of the Cowboys trading up to 6.
No,
look,
it's not going to happen.
The last time they actually did that, you'd have to go back to 2012. So I think unless there was a situation where maybe Arvell Reese is there and they could find themselves potentially even having the Giants pass on Sonny Styles, I could see them maybe picking up the phone, calling Cleveland. They would get 6, and then maybe they would use those 12 and 20 so that they would end up getting 670 and maybe 92 across the first 2 days. That's a big if. So let's go with why I think that it's more likely they'll stay put in. Dallas could be just as content letting the board fall to them and taking the best defender available. 2 picks in the top 20 to fix this defense, that would be real value. Now, why give up just for one solution, especially when there were multiple issues on that side of the ball. So at 12, you're looking for names like Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, LSU corner Mansour Delane, maybe Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles if he's there, and another corner Tennessee Jermod McCoy. And look, a lot of people might hear me say Sonny Styles at 12, that's not going to happen. Well, back in 2020, people didn't think that CeeDee Lamb was going to be there, and he fell to them at 17. So the other scenario that I could see, maybe they move up just a little bit. You know, they have the 12. Maybe they call up Kansas City. I think Kansas City has 9 and 29. Maybe they package the 12 and 20, and then that way they can go up. But I think anyone saying that the Cowboys are heading into this draft and they fully made up their mind that they're going to trade up at 6, I don't know about that. It's certainly not going to be 5 and 7. Those are teams in your division, and they're certainly going to want a lot. Cleveland makes the most sense, but there could be a lot of value there still at 12 and 20, and maybe a little bit easier if you picked up the phone and called Kansas City. We'll put it this way. If you look at all the mock drafts right now, Ian, it's all over the place.
Okay. Now, let me, for everybody that says Sonny Styles just can't miss, let's go back in time, 13 years, shall we? In 2012 NFL Draft, LSU cornerback Morris Claiborne was widely regarded by many analysts and teams as the top defensive player available. Famously touted as a shutdown corner with skills similar to Patrick Peterson, the Dallas Cowboys famously traded up to select him 6 overall. Understand, we gave up our first and our second round pick to do that. With Jerry Jones calling him the best defensive player in that draft. He was a unanimous All-American and winner of the 2011 Jim Thorpe Award and was viewed as a blue-chip prospect. Scouting report, he was praised for his fluid, natural movements and ability to stick with receivers, often making coverage look easy. The best verdict, while often called the best defensive player, some debates exist regarding top prospect in the class, which features studs like Luke Klitschney, I can't pronounce his last name, and Chandler Jones. While regarded as highly talented, he gained notoriety for scoring 4 out of 50 on the Wonder League test, though the Cowboys disregarded this, citing his high football IQ. So, do y'all still want to package up? No trade up. Let it fall. Let it fall. Eagles got Q in the 20s. Okay. Shout out to you, Bobby. Bobby, did you bust the bank today, buddy? Aren't y'all drafting a wide receiver? Since A.J. Brown is pretty much gone? So why hasn't there been the BFC championship game? Philly D. Rhonda, we're so happy you can afford moving out of your parents' house. Okay. Come on, Philly D. We can do better than that. Come on, Philly D. Dak is consistent, Hurts is streaky. Sonny Styles is one of the few players we would be much better team without a field general linebacker. We will suck again. I'm not going to say that Sonny Styles, by what we see right now, can't help us. But I still think that 2 first-rounders may help us more if we can fill in more of these holes. Hey, Big Spank Dog, man. Slow your roll, bro. Smells like Sheagles may get Ty Simpson. Well, thoughts? The Cowboys, I don't think we're going to be trading up. Don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
If you were GM, what would you do?
I would let the players fall and pick the best player on your board. It's that simple. That's the reason the number 1 picks are there.
Well, if I was the GM of the Cowboys, first thing I'd do is I'd go for a ride in a helicopter and drink some of Jerry's good, because we know he's got some Johnny Walker Blue.
Not taking a yacht.
Well, I'm flying the helicopter to the yacht because there's a helipad there. Okay, that's the first thing I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna go for a nice ride on that yacht. But I would be looking to say, the way I look with the Cowboys right now, Dak will be 33 years old. It's not to say that he can't play to 40. Like, Aaron Rodgers is 43 right now, and the Steelers are held hostage by him. But I look at it and say, with this contract currently sitting there, that you got about 3 years. FAJ, he can go draft. Okay, we go draft Sadiq, and AJ is cancer. Okay, then why are so many Eagle fans trying to hold on to him so hard? Okay, I look at this and say, I got 3 years. I look at Quentin Williams, probably about 3 good years. I say CeeDee Lamb. Because CeeDee Lamb is beginning to break down a little bit and having the drops and stuff, that I got about 3 years with him. And if I'm Jerry Jones, who I believe will be 84, and this is no disrespect, or I'm not wishing this or anything else. My dad died at 85. My father-in-law died at 86. And you're getting of that age where, tomorrow definitely isn't promised. I look and I say, 3 years, Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah. Has to.
So I'm looking at trying to do everything I can right now. That if I know I'm going to probably have to start over a quarterback in 3 years, then let's do everything we can for this 3 years to try and win it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that this year right now is the year that we're going to be able to do that. I mean, to win the Super Bowl. I look at this as Christian Parker's first year. We're going to be getting his feet wet and seeing what he can do. Maybe he ends up having a season like Dan Quinn when he came in after the abomination that we had that year before. Maybe we get lucky and that happens. But I look at it and say, this year is the building for the following year.
Yeah.
We solidify our offensive line. We find out, is Tyler Guyton actually going to be a quality left tackle, okay? Javonte Williams, he doesn't have a lot of miles on him because of the ACL injury, but you don't look at him and say he's going to be good for another 4 years. You look at this and say, 2 years for that running back. So I want to do something, in that time period with him. And I'm trying to collect as much talent as possible. And that is, I still have some restructures that are possible. I still have George Pickens, which is low-hanging fruit where I can get some capital. Yeah. And I'm using some of those late-round picks. I got 3 5s. I got a 4 and a 3. I'm using whatever it takes out of that stuff to find me a quality starting linebacker, preferably before the draft. And I'm still thinking about trying to revisit getting Max Crosby. If I were able to get Max Crosby, still have the number 12 pick, and get Jaden Brooks, then I might say we got a chance.
Whole different.
You're looking totally different. And you can do that if you really want to.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how much do you really want to do it. Head to Pittsburgh Thursday morning, hoping to see Dorsett. Well, the good thing is, as far as the draft goes, I've been watching the weather. The last time I looked at it, it looks like it's going to be about 75 on Thursday and Friday. At no rate, the Draft City opens up Thursday at 12. The theater opens at 5. And that means being around the theater and everything else. So we will be there at the gates open at 12. And we'll be there all day Friday as well. So we'll be there. We'll give you the sights and sounds from Pittsburgh. We need a decent defense. Page GP, pay Brandon Aubrey. Facts. Dak is consistent. Hurts is highly is a highlighted merchant who disappears when the script runs out. Damn. Vinny thinks they get Brooks after the draft. Well, see, here's the thing. The draft, like the experts are saying, that they see a lot of different trades going on at the draft. And that's the time to really, kind of get an opportunity where people are saying, there's a guy I want in the third round. And maybe I go ahead and give up on Brooks and I can bring that guy in with the pick that I'm getting from you. And that's where this is going to happen. Nobody's making these trades right now because nobody knows how this is going to fall. It's there's too many variables.
Yeah,
so
they don't want to show their hand.
You're going to see people on the clock. Now, that's not to say that the teams haven't already. And I'm sure the Cowboys have called Cleveland and the Cardinals and teams to say, hey, if, our guy is there, what would it take for us to move up? And so they've already had some preliminary talks on that to be able to say, hey, I want to pull the trigger on that trade we were talking about. Now, maybe they throw a wrench out and say, yeah, but why don't you throw in an extra 5th-round pick with it?
Yeah.
Because we got you by the cojones here.
Yeah.
Facts hurts. Okay. If we have a top 15 defense, we're winning. Vinny, I'm not going there, bro. Vinny, slow your roll. Slow your roll on Super Bowl talk. How about we'll be a better team? Big Spank Dog, the system ain't working, Rhonda. We know the Commander system's not working, Big Spank Dog. We know your system's not working, bro. Oh, man. Rhonda, we can only hope. Well, we're rounding the edge here, and it's been an interesting night, to say the least. I appreciate the super chats and everything else. I am, my friend. Got anything else you want to add before we get ready to get out of here?
I'll just looking forward to this actually going down, man. We've been this draft has been so hashed over.
Mm-hmm.
I can't quite remember something quite this crazy.
I really can't. And I'm almost wondering, with this draft being, as they put it, lacking of talent, and then next year's is supposed to be loaded with it, I can't help but wonder if when we had COVID in 2020 and, schools were basically shut down for about a year and everybody was homeschooled and stuff, if this is the ripple effect that we didn't have everybody playing football and this is the class that kind of became shortcomings. Before we do go, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on with like NBC might lose Sunday Night Football.
Not much. But
it's getting to be okay. So in 2028, the NFL has the option to tear up the television contract.
Okay.
And so what they're recognizing is they're making a king's ransom with the streaming platforms.
Right.
So CBS, who is currently paying $2.1 billion, is in early negotiations to give the NFL an extra $1 billion a year, so that way they don't lose Sunday football.
Oh, shoot.
Think about that for a second. We're going to give you $3 extra billion before we have to try and hold on to football. And what we're hearing is that Amazon or Netflix really wants Sunday Night Football.
Right.
And they're also looking at the 18-game season starting the following year and adding 2 more bye weeks. I think the NFL is going to end up being like the NBA, because they're talking about putting Thanksgiving Eve as a game.
Right.
And I
did hear about all that. Yeah,
I think what they're looking at is with those extra bye weeks, they say, okay, you got a bye week, but now you're going to play on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that there'll be a football game on every night. Right. I think if they do that, it's really going to water it down and make it so that David Wiley in the house, that people start tuning out.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not the, it's Sunday football and you got your friends together.
Sustainable.
If it's every night, it's kind of like it's not special anymore. Pack Attack. What Cowboy legend would you like to throw a TD pass to? Ooh, I'd like to throw one to Drew Pearson.
There you go.
Bob Bullet Hayes. That's who I can think. I'd love to throw one to Bob Bullet Hayes. How about that? That would be incredible. That would be the one I'd want. Thanks, Pack Attack, for the super chat. Appreciate that. David Wiley. What's up, man? Are you ready, David? 62 months David's been a member. I got to go to the meeting place tomorrow because I want to get the pork tenderloin ordered, so I pick it up on Monday to bring it up the road. How many pounds do I need? 10 pounds? It's not a pork tenderloin. Ate it for shish kebabs.
That's a lot.
Hey,
you got 8.
We'll have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You got 8 guys, so
Yeah, I might need about 10 pounds of that.
Yeah.
I'll get about 10 pounds of hamburger, about 10 pounds of sausage, and about 4 pounds of bacon. We're going to eat nothing but meat, okay? We're guys.
We got the meat.
All right, good people. We're going to get ready to get out of here because I'm tired. And I got to get back over on this house. Special shout out to my man, Jet Diener. Jeez, Jet. Well, no, I didn't say your last name. Good old Jet. But Jet, I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to carry my ass to bed. So, peace out.
One question, Bill. A lot of criticism about not taking a quarterback here. Your response?
Well, we got a guy up there. Who in the hell is Mel Kiper in a way? I mean, here's a guy that criticizes everybody, whoever they take. He's got the answers to who you should take and who you shouldn't take. In my knowledge of him, he's never ever put on a jockstrap. He's never been a coach. He's never been a scout. He's never been an administrator. And all of a sudden, he's an expert. He's in our paper 2 days ago telling us who we have to take. We don't have to take anybody that Mel Kiper says we have to take. Mel Kiper has no more credentials to do what he's doing than my neighbor, and my neighbor's a postman.